All right, welcome into another Between the Uprights Live. I'm here with Joe and Sammy. My name is Matt, and we are reviewing the Week 18 slate with all sorts of playoff implications and seeding to get into before previewing the AFC North title game that we will see on Sunday Night Football between the Steelers and the Ravens. But let's start with what we just saw, fellas. It was a couple of predictable outcomes here in the late window, but the Broncos beat the Chargers, who were sitting starters. Obviously, Patriots beat the Dolphins, who are ass. Sammy, you suck. We beat you again. Okay, but it also means the Broncos have the 1 seed and the Pats have the 2 seed. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars, who also blew out the Titans earlier in the day, have the 3 seed. So, fellas, the Broncos getting the 1 seed, the Pats getting the 2 seed. What were your takeaways from these two games here in this late window?
I mean, I saw a lot more offensively from the Patriots. Granted, the Dolphins defense isn't great. But that Chargers team was really doing some stuff to the Broncos on defense there that kind of surprised me. But at the same time, we haven't seen a lot from the Broncos offense all season. So am I really surprised that they got held to a bunch of field goals against a playoff caliber defense? Not really. Am I surprised that their defense held a Trey Lance to really a mediocre, if you want to even call it that kind of game? Not really. This was the inevitable outcome when Justin Herbert was mentioning he was going to be benched, when you knew that none of the starters for the Dolphins were going to be playing on offense. You kind of saw this coming. So, I mean, the Broncos and the Patriots 1-2 isn't very surprising at all. I just think that it was inevitable at the end of the day, and that's just kind of how it's going to be. And, the real thing here is now we know who's coming to New England, right? Who's going to Jacksonville, who's going to be going to an AFC North championship that's TBD right now. We'll get into that in a little bit, but you kind of look at the Chargers and you're like, man, did you really want to sit people out and go to New England? Did you, or, how did you want to really see that play out? I felt like when you looked at this AFC wild card race, I expected some of these teams that were, really fighting for seed, and they were all 11-5 starting out, right? And the Chargers had a chance to possibly go see Jacksonville, who they've got history with, that Trevor Lawrence comeback, all that stuff. And you kind of, I don't think that any of this, like two or three you really wanted to go see. You really wanted to go see 4 if you wanted to see any of these teams, right? Like Pittsburgh, you're not really afraid of them. Ravens, you're not really afraid of them. So it was kind of head scratching. I understand Herbert's injured, but it was head scratching to see them decide to rest so many starters, and kind of just throw in the white flag saying, oh, we made the playoffs. That's enough.
It's interesting. Like, if I'm Denver, I want teams to come to me, first of all. Like, respectfully, I think Denver's home field advantage, in spite of the fact that some teams have already gone there and beaten them, I think it's the most advantaged home field advantage I think you're going to get in the NFL, really, because of not just the electrifying crowd, but just like the mile above sea level. I think that's an advantage that Denver really could use. But also, I don't think it matters because look, let's be honest. The Denver got a bye, and they're gonna probably face one of like 4. I believe it's 4, 5, 6, or 7, the lowest of the seeds, right? So it's likely gonna be the best case scenario right now for the top seed, if it's Denver, which it is Denver, is for the Steelers or the Ravens to come out with the win against the Texans. Because I can guarantee you one thing: in spite of the fact that Denver beat Houston early on in the season, I guarantee you they don't want to play them again. I'll go as far as to say this: I don't think any team in the AFC wants to play the Houston Texans right now. Okay, this is a defense you could score 20 points. If the Houston Texans offense scores 20 points, it might be game. That's the kind of defense we're dealing with here. Now, granted, Denver's defense isn't any slouch, but I'll tell you this: I trust C.J. Stroud more than I trust Bo Nix. C.J. Stroud has won playoff games. He has. And guess what? I trust the wide receivers of the Texans, ironically enough, to get open more than I trust the Denver Bronco wide receivers to get open. Now, here's where the things get a little tricky, right? The offensive line. That's where it gets a little bit iffy there. For New England, they're probably going to face the Chargers. I think it's a good bet because I don't think the Chargers are healthy enough to make a playoff run. I just don't. And I don't.
Patriots gear.
Now, granted, Justin Herbert comes back next week. He's going to be playing hurt. I think that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. Last time we saw Justin Herbert in the playoffs, did not end up very well. This is Drake May's playoff debut. We'll see how he handles the pressure at home. But I think here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. This is the last thing. First of all, a part of me is stressing because of the earlier results right now. So my brain is kind of scrambling. Joe, you said I wasn't you asked if I was drunk. I was not drunk earlier in the Discord. I wasn't. I was just stressed out of my mind and praying to the Lord. Whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. I'm kind of rambling here, but the bottom line is this. I think the first and second seed at the very end of the day, it didn't really, it mattered if like a particular scenario happens. That's all I could really say. Yeah. But yeah, but either way, I think Denver's home field advantage means more to Denver, would mean more to Denver. I don't think it'll mean that much to New England in the long run.
They've won more on the road. They're 8-0 on the road.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Look, I mean,
New England has Mike Vrabel, who's already been to AFC Championship games, and the Denver has Sean Payton. Denver has Sean Payton, who has been to Super Bowls, right? So like really the odd man out is the third seed right here. I'm looking at him. It's Jacksonville. Liam Cohen. I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't, but like they're kind of like one of those seeds where, like you see, they're facing off against the Bills. I kind of like the chances against the Bills. I kind of do. So I kind of like the Bills' chance against the Jaguars. But
we got
that. Overall, it was a very uneventful second window. And those are my takeaways. Yeah. Whatever you took out of that, ladies and gentlemen.
I just want to say one thing I took out of that, Sammy, was that you're like, you're hoping that Pittsburgh or the Ravens beat the Texans so that they go to Denver. And it's like, at that point in time, when you say that, you're basically saying that the Jaguars are going to beat the Bills in Duval.
Yeah,
that was a little Freudian slip in the back of your brain. Was that?
Guys, okay, let me be transparent here. Let me be transparent here with the audience. We're honest here. Guys, when the Saints lost, I kind of started getting a little trippy. When the Saints lost, I kind of started panicking, okay? I panicked a lot. And, I don't usually panic. I'm usually very cool, calm, and collected. But here's the truth. Yeah, I love my hair. I love my hair. And I've been telling my family and my friends about this unfortunate bet and this unfortunate bet that I placed. And people have been telling me, why'd you make the bet? Why'd you make the bet? And here's the truth. I don't know. I don't know why I made the bet, but guess what?
For no reason.
For no reason. But guess what? I do it for the fans. Okay. The fans want to have some entertainment. The fans want to see Sammy up with a buzz cut. I'll look good anyway, hopefully. I was rattled. Okay. And that's why whatever Freudian slip rattled. Whatever Freudian slip I got there that Joe pointed out was completely it was valid, but I didn't. Yeah, I'm rattled, ladies and gentlemen.
He's about to. He's about to. He's close.
Time out. I'm a grown man. Okay, I'm not gonna cry here over football. Will I cry when the buzz cut happens?
Hey.
When the buzz cut happens, I'll send a picture, and you'll see.
Picture. We're going live, guy. From the barber's chair.
I don't know if you saw Stranger Things or not. If you saw season 5 of Stranger Things, but when the girl's getting her head shaved and she's sitting there crying, that's gonna be.
He's crying, right there. And it's like, yeah. You want to know something? I found that. Oh my goodness, I saw that and I was like,
related to that so deeply.
I'm like, yeah. She's my skin color and everything. Am I seeing something right now? Am I seeing my?
Oh man, seeing your future right there, man. That was crazy.
You didn't know you were in Stranger Things. I mean,
Thing a little bit too much of a baby face though. So. Apparently,
brother, you shave that mustache and that chin fuzz. You're gonna have a baby face too.
By the way, one of the Jags fans called out your mustache too, Sammy. They didn't like your take, and then they started making fun of your mustache. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm completely fine. I look great.
Oh man, dude.
I look great. Look, the thing is that like this is my action. Ironically enough, that was my pride and joy. And whatever people say about that, can say whatever they want. The hair, though. The hair.
You know how rattled Sammy is because we just went on about a 4-minute tangent of him just super nervous about his hair and talking about his hair and his facial hair. That's how you know he's nervous.
I trust Sean McVay though, Matt. I trust Sean McVay.
Hey, I do. You can trust Sean McVay all you want, but the football gods got it right. All right. After watching that Panthers-Bucks game last night,
we can talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
The fact that the Saints lost that game, the football gods got it right because the football referees, and let me say this out loud. I'm going to go on record right here. the NFL needs to stop messing around with these part-timers, these doctors, these dentists, these lawyers who come in here, make an extra $200,000 a year to be NFL refs. You need to hire real refs, because at the end of the day, these guys need to do this shit professionally all the time, 24/7, because what is happening right now is atrocious. I've seen so many bad calls in the last 24 hours of football that I can't even handle it right now, because these guys are legitimately, like, Alec Pierce got ejected from a game when he wasn't even looking at the ref and bumped him.
You want him to be like professional. What are they going to do for the off season, Joe?
Brother, $200,000 is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. You can
argue technically for more, because they're basically paying these guys a partial salary because they do $100,000 other jobs. You can make, like, Sammy, you're telling me right now, if someone came and said, hey, Sammy, you want to be a professional referee, all flights, meals included, hotel fare, everything like that, $200,000 a year, you only have to work from August to fucking January or February.
Matt Realism, bro.
$200,000 a year, not doing it? Yeah.
What is
I just wanted to talk about the AFC playoff picture, and here we are talking about referees and Sammy's head of hair.
So
like, I just like, this is where we've gone 11 minutes into this live. But let's talk I want to talk about the AFC. First of all, the Patriots are the 2 seed, and the Patriots got the exact matchup they wanted. This is they get the Chargers in round 1. It's the matchup they wanted. This pass rush for the Patriots has been looking better. The offensive line for the Chargers has probably been the worst in the NFL this year because of injuries, but that interior of the offensive line isn't good, and you lose both tackles. So I think it's going to be a tough matchup for the Chargers. And the Broncos as the 1 seed. You guys talked about it. Again, Denver does have a home field advantage, but I'm sorry, if they face the Texans and if they face the Bills in round 1 or in the divisional round, because obviously they don't have a wild card game, so it's technically round 2. But if they face the Texans or if they face the Bills, even if they're in Mile High, I'm telling you right now, I'm picking whichever team that gets there. I'm picking either Houston, or I'm picking Buffalo to beat Denver in Denver, because the Broncos defense, when they face high level offenses as of late, have not been good. We saw the Packers throw a party on them, and we saw Trevor Lawrence throw a party on them. And then the offense has just been super up and down the entire year. You don't know what kind of Bo Nix you're going to get come playoff time. So I'm nervous about the Denver Broncos as the 1 seed in the AFC. But and also, by the way, you guys talked about it with Jacksonville. I don't want to spoil our prediction episode that we're going to have this week, but I'm strongly considering the Buffalo Bills over the Jacksonville Jaguars in that matchup in Duval, because granted, Trevor Lawrence deserves a lot of credit for his level of performance, especially the last 6 or 7 weeks. Geez, 6 or 7 weeks, because he's been outstanding. Okay, Trevor Lawrence has been great. Bro. Liam Cohen, just shut up. Let me get through it. All right, Liam Cohen's been great as well. Okay, obviously turning that franchise around. Jacoby Myers has made a big difference. However, I trust Josh Allen come playoff time. I trust James Cook come playoff time. I trust Sean McDermott come playoff time when they're not facing the Chiefs. Okay, when they're not facing the Kansas City Chiefs, I trust them a whole hell of a lot come playoff time, and they're not going to be facing the Chiefs, obviously, come playoff time this year. So, again, massive credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but there's a strong possibility that come our prediction episode at some point this week, I'm going to be picking the Buffalo Bills to beat you in the first round of the playoffs. But, fellas, we talked about the NFC South a little bit. Joe went on a random ref tangent, so we might as well go to the NFC South. And we saw on Saturday that the Tampa Bay Bucks beat the Carolina Panthers 16-14. It was a nasty rain game, obviously sketchy refs involved in that game, but it did not matter because the Falcons beat the Saints today, giving the Carolina Panthers the 3-way division tiebreaker in the NFC South. And fellas, I gotta say, I told you so. All right. And there's a bunch of comments and I told you so. And I'm about to find this comment that called me out, literally said I was on crack. Okay. Which, first of all, that's besides the point. Okay. That is completely not related to this discussion. Okay. But
I do my spare time is my business.
Yeah. It doesn't concern you. Okay. Mind your own damn business. All right. With what I do in my spare time. All right. But he was talking to, Sammy's over there actually concerned for what I'm doing in my spare time. That's crazy. But listen, okay, I talked about it preseason. Okay, I said the Carolina Panthers were going to win this division, and sure enough, here we go. The Carolina Panthers are winning this division, and here I'm going to go changing my wardrobe right now because your boy freaking called it. I'm getting the belt out too.
The belt?
Freaking
What the heck is that?
There's a lot to celebrate, Sammy. There's a lot to celebrate today. Okay, first of all, okay, my two biggest takes, my boldest takes of preseason, I nailed. Okay, the Bears winning the NFC North, the Panthers winning the NFC South. I nailed them. Okay, in the pick standings too. You want to check the pick standings? I'm up by 60 games. These two guys gave up. I was so far ahead in the pick standings. All right, they literally didn't even submit their picks the last 3 weeks.
To be fair,
they knew they were going to get smoked.
Hey,
all right?
hey, man,
that's how far ahead.
That's not true at all. Look, I forgot. That's all it was. If we
whatever.
Picked, Joe, if we would have picked, we would have finished ahead of Matt. We all know the result. It's okay.
Well, at least got to see. If we're going to go on a rant
brother.
about who is more right about things, let me go ahead and toot my own horn a little bit here. Seahawks over hit. Let me just say that week 15 on, won every single game. The NFC road to the Super Bowl goes through Seattle. Okay.
Yeah, you got one take right the entire year, brother. We're not going to celebrate that. All right. We're also going to talk about how the Patriots won 14 games and the division. All right. That's something to celebrate too. Okay. And Joe over there was talking about, I don't think they could beat I don't think they're better than the Raiders. Whatever.
Pessimistic. Okay. Well, they weren't. They lost to the Raiders.
Contrary to the winning that's going on right now, I think I only got 2 division predictions right. Like I'm looking at it, like I got all of them. Like hey, look,
fraud.
Man, look. I'm a Dolphins fan. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, it's kind of in our blood. Like this is what we do. We're mediocre. We're average. But I will get the playoff. I will get the Super Bowl prediction right. I'm fairly confident on that.
But anyways,
they won.
Yeah, who cares? All right, who cares? It's all about me on this show. All right, it's the sunglasses. It's the
home run derby belt. Yes, it is.
Yeah, facts. I beat a bunch of 50-year-old men for this. You know what I'm saying?
12-year-olds, actually, guys. It was a bunch of 12-year-old.
It doesn't matter either way. What year were they born?
God damn it!
What decade were they born? Not this one.
Good Lord.
But again, NFC South, fellas, this was a shit show of a division, and the Carolina Panthers pulled it out. So what are your takeaways from the Panthers now being the 4th seed here in the NFC?
I got one. I got a takeaway. I got a great takeaway right now. How about Todd Bowles gets fired?
Yeah.
How about you go ahead and fire him? I cannot believe that these people for years thought, just because Tampa Bay is dominating their own crappy division, that this guy's a good head coach. Respectfully, that was never the case. It hasn't been the case. Baker Mayfield came in and played so unbelievably well, right? And the 1 year it's a bit of a rough year. It's up and down. He's turning the ball over. He has a bit of a down year this year. The defense can't pick him up. Now, granted, there have been weeks where the defense has picked him up and Baker Mayfield turns the ball over. But that's besides the point, because really Todd Bowles couldn't win a division. The first team that had a pulse, the first team that had a bit of a pulse, that didn't really even start winning till really halfway through the season. The first team, you had a 4-game lead in this division, and you somehow couldn't get it done. And now because of that, my hair is on the line. So Todd Bowles, I want your job. I want it right now, okay? On top of that, let me calm down. Your team was hurt, and I usually give people the benefit of the doubt when their teams are hurt. But then they got healthy, right, Matt? We saw it. Mike Evans came back, Godwin came back. They all got healthy, right? They all got healthy. And then what happened? You went on a losing streak. Who'd you lose to? Who'd you lose to? You lost to the spooky and scary Saints, right? Who, by the way, swept the Panthers, but they swept the Panthers somehow. You lost shout out to Tyler Shuck. Then you lost to the Falcons in embarrassing fact. You let Kirk Cousins, who is 37 years old, playing off a torn Achilles over 300 passing yards. Are you on crack? What the heck happened to your defense? And then on top of that, this is the cream of the crop. This is when I knew the season was over. This is why I picked the Panthers. I picked the Panthers to win yesterday's game. Was wrong about that. And I picked the Falcons to win today. Was right about that, to my own dismay. Now, you lost to the Dolphins, who were led by Quinn Ewers. A 7th round. The one time I need the Dolphins to lose, the one time my sweet baby boy Tua wasn't even playing, and you guys, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. You want to know why this is so embarrassing? It's because of the fact that Carolina is in the 3rd year of a rebuilding year, and yes, they improved. They did not deserve to win this division, but you want to know who deserved it less? Tampa deserved it less, because you guys lost to the division to a team that's still rebuilding. So with this being said, Todd Bowles, if you have a job by tomorrow, I don't think that organization is serious. I think they are going to regress next year. I will be praying on their downfall. And especially if they win this weekend against the Los Angeles Rams, who I picked to make the Super Bowl, I will, there will be hell to pay. Let me calm down. I genuinely believe he does need to be fired, Matt. I genuinely believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need to move on. And with that being said, they might have to move off of Baker too, because I don't know how much farther he could take him. I really don't. I don't. How much farther can look? They were winning a bad division for so long, and they won a playoff game against a team, a Philadelphia Eagles team that was self-destructing. It really was, and that's really it. Like, they haven't really done anything of importance aside from winning a really bad division. If Tampa Bay wants to really improve at all, you could keep Baker Mayfield for a little bit longer, but Todd Bowles has to go. And if Todd Bowles goes and Baker still struggles, it might be time to move on from Baker as well, man. Look, Tampa Bay has had a great run last couple of years, but it might be coming to an end very soon. It might be Bryce's division from here on out.
Man, that is a bold,
good Lord,
bold statement. I like it. But that's a bold. I mean, Baker's not going to be jobless. The guy's going to find his job. Oh man, he's got to
walk it off, Sammy.
He's got to walk around. Oh boy, this is a big one. That's a big one. That hurts you. That hurt you. Dolphins lose, it hurts you. Dolphins win, it hurts you. It just hurts.
No,
you.
he's got a lot on the line in that Panthers Ram. His whole head of hair and his Super Bowl pick. Like, that's like, you don't got much more on the line as an NFL analyst than that, unless you for some reason offered up. I don't even know what else you would offer up other than that. Lots of money, your life. I don't know. That's you got a lot on the line in that game. So it's very important.
You got your Super Bowl pick on the line too, there, bud. It depends on what you.
Dude, I will sacrifice my Super Bowl pick for Sammy's head of hair in a freaking snap. I will. That is the straight off in the entire world.
I would like to imagine the buzz cut is the best thing to ever happen to me, and I look really good, and a bunch of women just flood over me. But unfortunately, I don't think that'll be the case.
I don't think so, pal.
Oh, buddy. But I mean, can we acknowledge the fact that the NFC South, no matter who it was going to be the only playoff team this year that had a negative point differential?
Losing record. Yeah. I mean,
it's insane.
Just not good football
a lot of games.
It's crazy to me. Like, I know there's people out there right now who are looking at the Carolina Panthers winning the division, hosting a playoff game, going, we need to redo the playoff format. No, you don't. Because this is why the playoffs in the NFL are so great. It's things like this. Because you get this sort of team dynamic here, because otherwise the divisions mean nothing, right? Division being a division champion means nothing. It'd be like in basketball, right? Like, you won your division, who gives a shit? Your whole division's ass. You're you're in the play-in or some shit, right? Like, it doesn't matter, right? In basketball. In football, it matters because you do get a home field game, even if like the team below you only lost because of a strength of schedule tiebreaker. And they won 14 games. Hey, buddy, that just means you're going to get your ass beat really close to home. And you don't have to travel too far, right? Like, maybe that's, or you upset somebody. But to the people out there who are going to sit there and say, this is why the playoffs in the NFL need to be revamped. Absolutely 100% no. Does not need to happen. This is why the NFL is great. Because you can have a shit division like the NFC South, which is still the worst division in football. There was a moment there where we thought the AFC South was going to be competing for that. The NFC South has held on to that title now for a decent amount of time. And the only time it changed a little bit was because Tom Brady was there. So let's just be 100% honest with ourselves. So we already looked at the AFC. We're looking at the NFC right now. The Bears get the 2 seed because the Eagles lose with their backups out there to the Commanders. So now you're looking at where everyone's going. You got Los Angeles going to Carolina, which we're expecting a good game. We've already seen it once this year. It was a really, really good game. And the Panthers came out ahead in Carolina one time. It is very difficult to beat a team twice in a season, especially a team as good as the Rams. And I bet you Sean McVay's got some changes to that game that he's going to have in order to beat Carolina and get that win. You got the 49ers going to Philly, which I think is going to be a really good game. That is going to be a great game. And I have the Philadelphia Eagles probably winning that game, not to give away all of my picks. And then you have the Green Bay Packers for the 3rd time this year.
Beautiful.
Going to Chicago to face the Bears.
Amazing.
I love football.
I'm so excited for that game because this is like Merhant kept saying, like the Bears have to beat the Packers in Lambeau. They couldn't do it. Came close, one play, right? Then they go down, welcome the Packers into Soldier Field, beat them. Now you get them again in Soldier Field. This is the closest thing the Bears have had to a Super Bowl since Rex Grossman. Since that 08 Super Bowl going against the Colts. This is the closest thing you have right here, right? This is a great game. And I'm so happy for this game. This is one of those games that I don't care if who you're a fan of in the NFL, you're tuning in to watch Bears Packers because that is history. That is legacy. That is some of the oldest franchises in the NFL, in the oldest stadium in the NFL, going head to head for what is going to be the bragging rights for the rest of next year, up until they meet again. That's going to be it. Bar none, hands down, that is the game of the week, wild card weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be that's going to be an amazing game. Obviously, you talked about it the third time they're meeting this year, and both games were amazing. One of them it took a miracle at the end for the Bears to even get into overtime, and then obviously that amazing throw from Caleb to DJ Moore in overtime to win it for the Bears. And then the game before just came down to Caleb Williams not making the play at the end, or else the Bears could have tied it there. So two good teams, not amazing teams. I don't think either of these teams is going to make a super deep run in the playoffs, even if they win it. But it's going to be an amazing playoff game, that's for sure. In the NFC in the NFC North. But I do want to talk about the NFC West title game that we did see on Saturday as well, with the one seed that was on the line. We saw the Seattle Seahawks beat the 49ers 13-3 in a low-scoring, hard-nosed playoff-style game. The Seattle Seahawks win the West, going 14-3, getting the one seed and having home field advantage through the playoffs. And Joe got the first prediction he's ever gotten right in his entire life. He predicted the Seahawks winning their last 4 weeks of the season in 4 very tough games, and he nailed it. So he does deserve his flowers. But fellas, what did you take away from that game, Seahawks and Niners on Saturday?
I mean, it was kind of what you expected. We knew that Seattle's biggest Achilles heel was when you can get after Sam Darnold. And the biggest problem the 49ers have had all season was getting after quarterbacks. I mean, they were the worst in that category. We've already touched on it. We said that might be one of the reasons why, Kyle Shanahan isn't in the Coach of the Year conversation, is because of how terrible the pass defense has been for the 49ers. And, you kind of look at how the run game is coming along there in Seattle, how, Sam Darnold's been playing. Hey, and by the way, kudos to Sam Darnold, all right? We don't give Sam Darnold enough credit. He is now the 5th quarterback all time to have 2 14-win seasons, right? 5th quarterback all time. He joins names like Tom Brady.
I saw second. I thought it was just him and Brady.
No, it's 5. It's him, it's Tom Brady, it's Peyton Manning. I'm pretty sure you have Marino on there. There's 5. I know there's 5 for a fact. I'm going to have to look up exactly which 5 it is, but there are 5 quarterbacks that did it. And in the history of the NFL, right, all the great quarterbacks we've seen, and Sam Darnold is one of 5. If it is, the 5 it is, like, that's insane. It's insane to think that Sam Darnold is one of 5 quarterbacks to ever do that. And he did that with 2 different teams.
Yeah, 2 different teams
in back-to-back years. So we need to officially give Sam Darnold his flowers. There's no more of this, like, I don't care if you believe he's a system quarterback or whatever. What he's done in 2 different offenses with 2 different skill position players at the level he's done it at, you can officially, his entire Jets tenure, throw it away. Throw it away. This is who Sam Darnold is. A trash organization does not tell you who a quarterback is. And the Jets are a trash organization. The Jets fans themselves will tell you they're a trash organization. That is like the highest level of trash organization you can be, is when your own fans know for a fact that you are garbage.
Sammy, right? Can you vouch for that?
Can we please get to the point, Joe? I don't want to.
So my point is that everybody kept sitting here. You, Matt, you came at me for it. Sammy came at me for it, and I doubled down every single time when you guys were like, "Are you still sticking with Sam Darnold and the Seahawks? Are you still sticking with them?"
Didn't you bail on him?
Hold on.
Bailed.
No, hold on, Matt.
Bailed.
When after this episode, go find the clip because I'm almost positive you bailed on him. I'm positive
I got footage of you bailing, brother.
I didn't bail
at the end of the Rams video.
Find it, Joe.
I said that he could possibly be, and possibly couple it with a Super Bowl MVP.
I don't think you said possibly.
It's fine.
We'll go back and check.
Could.
It's fine.
I said could.
We'll go back and check.
We'll go
back and check. Keep the receipts.
I'm a man of honor.
If I lied,
okay?
I lied.
I can. All right. Go ahead.
All right. If I lied, I lied.
Keep going.
But I'm pretty sure could pair it with a Super Bowl MVP. All right. Either way, the Seahawks did exactly what I said they were going to do. They won out. 1 seed. Everyone's got to go to Seattle. The 12th man, here's your chance to prove you're real. Here's the chance to prove you're back. Because guess what? That defense is going to need you. That offense is going to need you. And there is not a place, I think the fans are more, having gone to the stadium, having watched a game there, Seahawks fans are crazy. Do you know what happens in Seattle for a home game? People pour off the ferries into Seattle. People pour into the streets. It is a bar crawl down to the stadium.
Seattle's an amazing sports town. It's an amazing sports town.
Amazing sports town. They literally section off portions of the streets. City blocks are just for pedestrian traffic as everyone just goes bar to bar and pours down there for the football games, pours down there for the baseball games and the soccer games. That city loves its sports teams, and they are going to be filling out come the divisional round for their Seattle Seahawks. You will hear it in the streets, in the stands. That entire city is going to be registering like a Category 3 earthquake.
Yeah, congrats to Seattle. I mean, like they are an amazing sports town, and surely, they're such an amazing sports town that their basketball team is still around.
Wow.
Seattle, get them, Seattle.
We could
get them, Seattle.
Wait. It was a joke, Seattle. I love
Seattle.
Seattle has my
love. They coming for you now, dog.
Brother, no, you can't take it back. Don't backstep.
Hold on. It was a funny joke. They're gonna get their team back eventually. Okay. There's no way Adam Silver's stupid enough to keep the city of Seattle from getting a basketball team. Okay. Especially with all the talent in the NBA. I'm sure they're gonna expand eventually. Why'd I say that? Anyway, the Seattle Seahawks
what the hell?
have I'm just stirring the pot here. The Seattle Seahawks have a fantastic defense, and I think that's why you could credit most of their success. I understand there's a lot of love for Sam Darnold. And rightfully so. And they've won 14 games. I will say I still have my reservations. I'm going to hold my reservations until they're proven wrong. Now, granted, this is back-to-back years where Sam Darnold has performed well in the regular season. Look, there are demons that need to be exercised when it comes to Sam Darnold. And until those demons are exercised, I'm not going to really buy fully into the Seattle Seahawks, buy or not. Okay. And now, even though their odds to make the NFC Championship game are a lot higher because of the fact that they have a bye and they could face a team that's inferior to them, it's one of those things where you want to fully buy into them. You want to fully buy into them, but there's a small thing where what the heck? There's a small thing that's holding me back from it held me back from picking them to win this division, which congrats again, by the way, for winning this division. But it's what kept me from picking them to win the division. I think this defense is for real. I think it's probably the best defense in the NFC. And the only thing holding them back from being Super Bowl favorites outright is literally Sam Darnold. So this is really the run. It has to happen, and they have a bye. They have home field advantage. But I have seen them with great defenses go up against some of these Super Bowl caliber teams and lose. I've seen Sam Darnold with the Vikings. They had a Super Bowl caliber team, and yet there were reservations because of who Sam Darnold was. And guess what? It ended up paying off because the Rams ended up facing off against them. And here you go. So it's interesting. I want to believe in Seattle fully, but there's a reason I'm picking the Rams. I still think they have the better head coach QB combination. That question was from Christian O'Neill. who's the Super Bowl favorite now for each conference.
Yeah,
I'll take it first if you guys don't mind. I think the
Go
favorite. I think the Super Bowl favorite in the AFC, it should be the New England Patriots. I'm gonna pick them as the favorite. I think they should be the favorite. I understand they're gonna have the second seed. I think they have a better QB situation, and in spite of the fact that their defense has some holes in it, I trust Mike Vrabel's game managing, and I trust their run game now. I don't know if you've seen them lately; they've been running the ball really effectively, and that helps. And as for the NFC, I'm still going with the Rams. I still think the Rams are the favorites. Them being the favorites doesn't mean, by the way, in the AFC. Patriots being the favorites doesn't mean I'm picking them to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Obviously, that's not what we're discussing here. I'm just saying who should be the favorite purely because of who New England is, what New England has. I think they should be favored. And over in the NFC, I'm picking the Rams because I think that championship pedigree runs deep. Same thing can be really said about the Philadelphia Eagles, but just the way they've played, it's just been rough. You could kind of say the same thing about the Rams, but I trust Sean McVay a lot more than I trust Sirianni.
Yeah. Joe, you can go.
There's a decent amount of people out there, to your point, Sammy, that I think are looking at the Rams and still believing, even though they're a wild card team, that they're the favorite in the NFC. I think there's people that are looking at the Bills right now and saying, why not? Like, there's a solid chance that the favorites are both not going to host a playoff game. You could say that. You could say the Bills and the Rams. Me personally, I'm still sticking with Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. I think that they're defensively and offensively are just a better rounded team, although I do agree that they probably don't have the top quarterback coach duo in the conference, right? Like, I think Mike McDonald is great, and I think Sam Darnold is good. But if you can put them up against just purely one-on-one against, McVay and Stafford, I don't think that they're even close. But at the same time, I mean, we've talked about it. You have to be able to stop the run. You have to be able to run the football. And the Rams haven't been able to do that, right? They haven't. It's just the way it is. So I'm going to go Seahawks in the NFC. The AFC, this is tough. This is a tough one because there's 4 teams, I think, that are just all at the same level of possibility. I think you could easily split the Broncos because of that defense, the Texans because of how that offense has looked recently in that defense, the Bills just because they have Josh Allen and that he can carry a team, and then the Patriots because you trust Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, and what you've seen from Drake May. So they're all 4 of those teams in the AFC could go that. I'm obviously a Patriots fan. We're decked here in my Patriots gear. Why wouldn't I be a homer and pick the Patriots? Well, because I'm a pessimistic Patriots fan and I can't fucking do it. That's why. So I'm going to go with a team, and I'm going to flip this here. I'm going to go with the 5 seed in the AFC. I think the Houston Texans right now are the favorites in the AFC. I think that, they have shown that they can do that. But, the dark horse here no one's talking about is Jacksonville. Hosting a playoff game. And then if they can go into Denver and they can beat Denver the way they beat Denver, brother, put yourself on notice right now. Jacksonville's not a pushover.
No, Jacksonville's definitely not a pushover, and I've disrespected them a lot throughout the course of the season. I'm still not going to apologize for it because, like I mentioned before, I'll probably pick against them in the first round. But they deserve to be taken seriously. I mean, the defense has looked legit. Trevor Lawrence is playing the best ball of his career, and Liam Cohen has certainly done a great job at head coach. However, to answer the question, for me, again, I think if you're just basing it off of like who should be the favorites, it probably should be the 1 seeds just because they don't have to play that initial game and they have home field advantage. But who I think are the 2 best teams in each conference, I still think it's the Rams. Like Sammy mentioned in the NFC, I think they've had some unlucky games and some bad breaks. I think they're gonna pull off a run here in the NFC. And in the AFC, same thing. I think it's the Buffalo Bills still. I think the highest ceiling team in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills because they have the highest ceiling player in the NFL right now, and that is Josh Allen. And to me, if there's any season that 2 teams from each conference are going to go on the road and go all the way to the Super Bowl, I think it's this year because there's no true favorite as far as it goes. And yes, I think we were all criticizing Trevor Lawrence to respond to that comment. I think all of us were going off on Trevor Lawrence considering how
a month ago he did look like a bust.
Well, no, a bust was crazy. A bust was crazy. Like that,
But bust is always crazy. 7-4 though. When they were 7-4 and he was playing, I think his quarterback rating at one point was under 80. Like he was not playing good football as far as the numbers go. But then obviously we saw down the stretch he's played amazing football and obviously too. And that's been with a lot of turnover. Like wide receiver group has not been good for the most part this year. Brian Thomas Jr. has not looked like the same player as he was in his rookie year. Travis Hunter gets banged up. Obviously the Jacoby Myers addition was big, but he's had to deal with a lot of adversity this year, and you got to give the Jacksonville Jaguars credit. I am just not going to believe in them quite yet 100%. But real quick before we
Trevor Lawrence real quick.
Do it.
I just want to shout him out real quick. Congratulations on being the best quarterback in Jaguars history.
You did it.
Most touchdowns in a single season in Jaguars history. Trevor Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a round of applause, all right?
You're better than David Garrard, brother. You're better than David Garrard. Shout out to
and
you,
Blake
man.
Bortles. You're better than Blake Bortles.
Byron Leftwich and Mark Brunell, baby. You passed them all up. Way to go, Trevor Lawrence.
But real quick, loves Brunell. That city loves Mark Brunell.
They do, and that's saying something considering the quarterbacks that we just mentioned in Jacksonville. But real quick before we talk about this AFC North showdown, I do want to talk about something else in the AFC North, and that was Myles Garrett getting the sack record. Obviously, Myles Garrett breaks the sack record. Took him an extra game, but he gets 23 sacks. However, after the game, I sent it in the chat. Zach Taylor, bro. Zach Taylor, what are you doing, brother? Complaining about, they were celebrating on the field. Yeah, no shit. This guy just broke an NFL record that had stood for 20 years, and you're complaining about it? Oh, the game was so important. You were eliminated from the playoffs 3 weeks ago, jackass. I don't understand. But, fellas, what were your takeaways from this Myles Garrett getting the sack record and Zach Taylor bitching about it?
I think it's like one of those things where, like, you don't understand the moment and and you're not self-aware. And, look, this could be like another example of there are a multitude of reasons why Zach Taylor should be fired. I don't think this is necessarily one of them, but I will say that it's classless. I think that I understand, you want to win a football game. I understand that, but this is bigger than whatever game you were playing. This is way bigger than that. And this is a record that has been standing for a very, very long time. Now, I will say this. I will say this regarding Myles Garrett. Did look like Joe Burrow kind of took a bit of a dive. He was going to get sacked anyway. Let's be honest. But he was going to get sacked. Like, if you saw the rep from Myles Garrett, he just completely destroyed the left tackle. Like, it was not even close. But I will say that it did look like Joe Burrow took a bit of a dive. But regardless of that, in my opinion, like, Myles Garrett is already one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. I really hope, this is my takeaway, I really hope that this team can get their act together and really form a playoff team next year. I really hope so, because Myles Garrett, his career right now, it's a Hall of Fame career. He's 30, and he could have a long ways to go. I mean, he just had his career year this year. Like, this year is when it happened. So it could, I don't know if he's going to get 22 sacks next year, but believe me when I say, guys, I think this is one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. I think at this point he's up there with the all-time greats like Leonard Taylor, Reggie White, J.J. Watt. I'm naming. Look, I don't know any better pass rushers.
His flowers here, bro.
I mean, bro, like this guy is insane. Like one of the greatest pass rusher I've personally ever seen. Hands down, I'm putting him up there. Like, and this sack record only solidifies it.
Yeah, for sure. And can we just go ahead and say something real quick here? There was a snippet of the interview, Matt. I told you I was going to do this for you. This is where you can cut that in right now, where Zach Taylor is saying we were fighting for our football lives. Where the fuck was that the rest of the year? Huh? You were eliminated from the playoffs 3 weeks ago, and you're fighting for your football lives in Week 18, and you're going to sit here and try to lower a moment that is historic. And the only thing more historic is how the hell than that in this game is how the hell you still have a head coaching job in the NFL in 2025 after just year after year of just disappointment. You're riding a Super Bowl appearance that seems like it was decades ago. You're going to come on national television in an interview post-game and complain because one player upstaged your entire roster in one game in one moment? You need to be fired. You need to have a long look in the mirror and realize you're a goddamn adult. You can be happy for somebody, even though you suck. That's what I took away from that.
I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting a lot more, but thank
Even
you.
though that was a good way to end that, because that's a fact. Zach Taylor is a terrible head football coach. Should have been fired a couple years ago. And people were putting him on a pedestal because Joe Burrow carried him to a Super Bowl, and that defense obviously played well in the in that run as well. Like Zach Taylor's never been a good head coach. I'm sorry, he just hasn't. But let's stay in the AFC North. The game's about to start. AFC North title game about to happen here on Sunday Night Football. It's the 9-7 Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the 8-8 Baltimore Ravens. And I'm telling you right now, Pittsburgh, I have not believed in you 1 second the entire year. I don't think you're a good football team. And why the hell would I start believing in you now, man? I don't believe you're going to win this game. I think Lamar Jackson, even though he's not healthy, and again, we've had some very entertaining and very controversial Lamar Jackson topics on this show. I think Lamar Jackson is going to show up in this game, even though he has had history of struggling against the Steelers. And I think the Baltimore Ravens will be the number 4 seed in these AFC playoffs. But fellas, what do you think? Who's winning between the Steelers and the Ravens?
Give me Pittsburgh. Every time I feel like the Ravens are going to show up finally, right? Every single time I think they're going to show up finally. They don't. They just don't, and they disappoint me. And I'm done putting my eggs in that basket, because when push comes to shove, you're not going to feed Derrick Henry in key moments. You're going to rely on Lamar Jackson to try to make throws, which I'm not confident he can make. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to play a better version of Pittsburgh football in Pittsburgh. It's a home game. I don't think that, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be able to beat them in Pittsburgh with the injuries and the way things have been going and all of that. I wholeheartedly believe this is Pittsburgh's division to lose now. And it just goes back to show that I think that major change needs to happen in Baltimore. And I think that after this game, those are going to be the questions that are going to be asked, is what needs to change in Baltimore to get them back to what they should be with the talent they do have.
Yeah, I'll be blunt here. This is fate. This is just what things are. This is how the NFL has worked the past 10, 15 years. Death, taxes, and the Steelers going 9-8 or 8-8. 9-8, yeah. 9-8 sounds better. This is going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And I got to say, Joe, you mentioned injuries. How about irresponsibility? DK Metcalf got himself into trouble. He's suspended for this game. He's suspended for this game. And then on top of that, Darnell Washington, who's been pretty effective when he has played, he's going to be out as well. Now, granted, the Steelers still have their defense. And Mike Tomlin is going to be Mike Tomlin. So, granted, there are some things that could go Pittsburgh's way, including TJ Watt being back and healthy. But the reality is that I don't trust. You could say you don't trust Baltimore. I trust Baltimore a whole lot more than I trust Pittsburgh. And the reason for that is because Pittsburgh, every single time, yeah, they've won the division in the past before. They've won it plenty of times. But the truth is, Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, I think he gets back into form today. I think the Pittsburgh offense doesn't move the ball a lot because of they weren't able to move the ball against the Browns. And granted, the Browns have a good defense. I don't think they'll be able to move the ball against the Ravens either. Okay. So DK Metcalf being out is a big deal. I think that's going to be the main reason. And look, let's just admit it. Seattle fans tried to kind of warn Pittsburgh fans exactly why DK Metcalf was a bit of a head case, and they were completely fine trading him away. And they got the best wide receiver in football to go fill in and replace him, a lot better than DK Metcalf. And then on top of that, he's actually going to be playing the games. So look, I understand that situation is a bit sensitive, right? DK Metcalf, said that guy said some things that you just don't say. And look, I don't know the situation fully, but what I do know is that as an NFL player, you have responsibilities, and those responsibilities are to maintain your composure and don't put yourself in that situation in the first place. And look, it's a shame because this is for the division. This is it. This is for the division. Now, if they had taken care of business last week, maybe this wouldn't have mattered. But the truth is, your team didn't, and part of that is because you weren't there. I don't trust Pittsburgh, and I think they're going to go 9-8. And I think this should be Mike Tomlin's last year as a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. Tomlin has just kind of run his course in Pittsburgh at this point. I mean, how many times you got to run your head into the wall? Like, how many times are you going to go 10-7, 9-8, 8-8? Like when it was, when it was a 16-game season, like how many times? It's just like you mentioned, Sammy, death taxes and 9-8 for the Steelers. It just happens every single year. And even if they do make the playoffs this year, they're going to be facing the Houston Texans in round 1, and you're going to get bum rushed in round 1. So it's the same thing for Pittsburgh every year. You either make the playoffs and lose in round 1 by three or four touchdowns, or you miss the playoffs and you were a half game out or a game out. It's just you can't keep doing it if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And like you mentioned, Sammy, DK Metcalf not being in is a huge deal. We saw that last week versus the Cleveland Browns. They're on the goal line and they're throwing fades to Roman Wilson, and they're throwing fades to Calvin Austin, and they're throwing fades to Marcus Valdez-Scantling. Yeah, like what do we like these guys are just not like don't scare anybody. These guys are not like these guys are 3 or 4 receivers in the NFL, and these are your main weapons right now if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they're going to have to rely a lot on Jalen Warren. They're going to have to rely a lot on Kenneth Gainwell making plays out the backfield. And if the Baltimore Ravens can stop that, there's really nobody else that they need to be afraid of on this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. So yeah, I think the Ravens are going to win this game. The only thing with the Ravens is, again, when we see the Baltimore Ravens get into big games, sometimes they lose their identity. We saw last week, your freaking identity, Baltimore, is Derrick Henry. Give Derrick Henry the freaking football, and if you lose with Derrick Henry, then who freaking cares? But if you don't give Derrick Henry the football and you lose because Lamar Jackson threw the ball 40 times, that's where I'm going to have an issue, and that's where the Baltimore Ravens are going to have problems. But I think the Ravens are winning this game. I think they will be the 4 seed, but I don't think really who wins this game matters, because I think they're going to get bum rushed by the Texans in the first round, because I don't think either of these teams are nearly as good as the Houston Texans, and that is very true. That is very true. That comment right there. If the fan said what DK Metcalf said that he said, I probably would have reacted the same way that DK Metcalf did. The problem is, again, like Sammy mentioned, you can't put yourself in that situation, and you got to know, especially coming down towards the end of the season, it's going to be really hard for the NFL to look the other way in terms of things like that. But that's going to be it. This game's about to start, fellas. This game is about to start. We got to watch this game. Fellas, if you took one thing away from this episode, it's that I'm the freaking GOAT. Okay. Everything is coming up MVP right now. You already know. Okay. But if you like this, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. Make sure you comment, do whatever you want. And